Hello and welcome. These are horse racing selections for Friday, the 27th of October. I am Flat Cap Callum and I am hoping you are all very, very well. Well, the burning question is, have I managed to find more than 3 horses for Friday? And the answer is, of course I have. Of course I have. We've got 12 horses, 10 races. So it's a £24.50 staking plan. So we are back getting a little bit more involved. So we've had 2 days this week of 3 horses only. And of those horses, we've had one winner, 1 non-runner, and 4 duffers. I think it was in total. So as far as today, we've got 4 bets, 3 Yankees, and a combo double on an obvious race and a non-obvious race. Just because I like to mix it up, don't I? So £24.50. So that will bring our stake for the week down up to £34.50. So I need to do a quick review of Thursday, do Friday's bets, and then a couple of things just to go through. One was a few flags about the tips to competition. Want to mention about freebets.com, and just want to kind of just have a mention about people sharing their selections in the comments. Those are my plans, but aiming to keep it on the briefer side as we've been doing this week. So Thursday, simple as you like. We had those 3, none of them very good. 5 on, nothing back. So we walk into Friday, £6 up for the month and for the week. 6 up for the week and the month. I think that's where we're at. So with Friday and Saturday, the official day still to go, with obviously pending anything bonus videos Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So we are trying to protect our £6 now, because if we're trying to protect £6, we would just be betting £5 and whatever. I'm not here to try and protect something specifically. If it's there, it's there. It's not, it's not. There's some stuff I like on Friday, so we are having a dabble. So we're going to start off with this one. So 3 Cheltenham, 1 Doncaster, and watch out on Doncaster. At the time of making this video, there was a 7:30 a.m. pending inspection for waterlogging, and yeah, it's described as precautionary, but sometimes precautionary can become problematic. So I'm definitely taking a minor risk. I've got a race at Doncaster at 3:30. I've got 2 horses, and they're starting 2 of the 2 afternoon Yankees, and they're in the combination doubles. So if they do become non-runners, then these bets become 40p each way. What we're talking about, 40p each way patterns, basically speaking. That is roughly speaking, that's what they come out as well as the singles. So 3:30 Bay Breeze 33-1, 3:55 Enthused. There's a few I'll point out to you that if you're betting it early enough from the video upload, that there's some standout prizes on 365. Enthused, you could get 33s when I started to make this video. Whether it will still be there when they upload, not sure, but you could have got 33s on Enthused. Then we've got 4:30 Cheltenham Destiny is all at 11s, and the 5:05 Cheltenham Bucko's Boy 14-1. I'm not getting involved in that first decent field size handicap at Cheltenham. I didn't like it, didn't like the read of it. 20p each way Yankee, and then we've got 2 50p each way singles on Enthused and Bucko's Boy, and 2 25p each way singles on Bay Breeze and Destiny is all. So those 2 are in my combo double as well, so I've got a lower stake on the single. So it's not biggest single on the bigger price specifically, because I've got more stake on those because they're in double bets. Hopefully that's clear enough. So Enthused and Bucko's Boy 50p each ways, Bay Breeze, Destiny's all 25p each way singles. 740 is the bet. Sky best, and then Paddy next best. So Sky are better for some of these races, but the 4:30 Cheltenham, Sky and Paddy are both 6, and I think what's something else, some other very minor bookie I never really mentioned, Live Score or something like that, I think I noticed, but Sky and Paddy are both 6. For channel stats, if it all stays the same, I'll be taking 5, but you can get 6 with Sky and Paddy. So that's 740 bet 1. Then we're going to go around the houses bet. This one is. So 3:30 Doncaster, Magical Spirit. Now, that one ran an absolute duffer last time. Brilliant, just what you want. Why did it run a duffer? It ran a duffer because it was drawn on the wrong side at York. It's a horse that likes to go prominent. It started slowly. It was on the worst side of the draw. Just write that one off. If you look at the horse's form, it nearly always runs its best races in October and November at the end of the season. So it's an end of season peak of that horse. And I think you just write that one off. And if you go back to then Doncaster form, it's got Doncaster form. So it's 16-1 because it ran a duffer last time, but actually that horse is quite well handicapped and it's got a lot in its favour. So we'll go with that, and that's also in our combo double. Then we've got the 4:30 Cheltenham. This is my value horse for the day. It's not the biggest price, but it's the value for the day, 100%. So when you're looking at these races at Cheltenham, you've got to kind of make some decisions, because you've got horses that have been running all over the summer, and are they still going to carry on that form through into the start of the winter in terms of where we're up to in the calendar? So I know it's not technically the winter, but you know what I mean. And then, or you've got horses that are going to run first time this season, and you've got to make a judgment. You look at the back history and you go, have those horses done well running fresh before or not? Innisfree Lad, that's my sort of horse at this time of the year. So what I'm looking at this time of the year predominantly, yes, I might pick a few horses running fresh, but my preference at this time of year is to find the horses running second time out. Second time out, having previously run a poor race first time out, having previously run a poor race at the last run of the last season. Innisfree Lad, absolutely classic, ticks those boxes. If you look through the history of the horse, they usually run it until it's done for the end of the season. So they always give it one more run than it probably needs, and that's when it underperforms at the end of the season. They turn it out for the next season. It always underperforms first time out. Second time out takes a massive step forward from the last time. What happens is when you've got a horse like that, so if it's run well, penultimate run in the last season, then it's done these two duffers, the handicap mark goes down. You've got a horse that's an ageing horse, that brings the handicap down mark in, because the handicapper will look at that and go, well, actually, that horse is on the decline. The reality, I believe, on that horse is absolutely primed to go. It's got a really decent amateur jockey on, Finian Maguire. It's got jockey, it's got ground, it's got Cheltenham form. It's got ground, it's versatile on the ground. It will go much further, so if it does get a little bit boggy down at Cheltenham, it's not going to be a bit of a problem with that one. There is so much I like about that horse. It's a stay and chase race, right? And you never can be quite sure. And some people look at it and go, well, it's on the decline. Then that's why the handicappers marked it down. But it is on a brilliant mark. I think there's a lot of mileage in that. I don't know necessarily how much there's going to be in price movement in the market, but so sometimes I'll try and get this right. So sometimes I will say where I think it should be in the market, and I'll kind of allude to the fact that I think it might go there. I'm not sure that one's going to go necessarily much shorter, and it could even drift. But if I was writing the book on that horse, I would have that about 6-7 to 1, genuinely. I don't think it will go anywhere near that price, but that's how I would rate that horse. So that's me trying to explain to you how much point value I think is in there at 18 to 1. It's 20 in places, but 18 to 1 for a horse that I think should be 6-7 to 1. And as in terms of how I'd rate its chances. So if that horse was 9 to 1, 8 to 1, I'd still be on that horse. From a channel perspective, I'd probably put it up at 9 to 1. If it was 9 to 1, I'd still back it for the channel. So there's me doing a big talk up on it. I don't do it very often. So that's my lean for the day. 4:50 Lingfield, then we've got Star of Epsom 16s, and 5:30 at Dundalk Is That Love. I've only got 2 at Dundalk for this week. So let's make sure we follow this through on the colours. 20p each way Yankee. We've then got 50p each way singles on the bottom 3. Innisfree Lad, Star of Epsom Is That Love. The reason I've not got more single on that one because I've got it in multiple doubles as well. That Innisfree Lad. Then got a smaller 25p each way single on Magical Spirit because it's also in a combo double. But then we've got 40p each way double on Innisfree Lad and Star of Epsom. So that's a total of 870. Sky best, Paddy Coral second best jointly, because Paddy are paying 6 there and everyone else is 5. Coral are paying 4 on that one with Sky, and everybody else is free. So Paddy or Coral next best, then 365 or Ladbrokes, because you've got the same place term as most others, and then you'll get Bog on your multiples. 870, that's bet 2. Combo double, well advertised, so we're taking a risk here, because if these go down, it basically ends up meaning we've got 50p each way, an additional 50p each way single on these two Cheltenham ones. So the Doncaster meeting gets pulled. But we've got Doncaster, Magical Spirit 16s, Bay Breeze 33, Sky, the only ones 4 places on that race. So if you've got Sky, it makes it preferable. But I'm backing these top 3. Then 430 Cheltenham, Innisfree Lad, and Destiny is all 4 times 25p each way doubles. As I said, if this bet, if Doncaster gets pulled, then basically these become 2 50p each way singles, additional singles on top of what's already down. So Sky best, Paddy second best. And then our evening saver bet, 1 at Dundalk, 3 at Wolverhampton. You know my thoughts on Wolverhampton, and it didn't go well Thursday, did it? But there we go. This is what I found. 6 o'clock Dundalk, Kuwait direction 12s, 7:15 Wolves, one of the old favourites, Kitten's Dream, 20s on 365 and I made the video, 14s. Usually gets backed in, then drifts a bit back out again. 7:45 Wolves, Jack of Clubs at 12s, and 8:15 Wolves, Leodis Dream at 12s. 20p each way Yankee, and for this one I've just done 50p win singles on the 4. So all the other singles we've got on are each ways. For this last bet 4, they're all 50p win singles. Makes it 640 the bet. Sky best, then 365 Coral or Ladbrokes are joint second best, and then joint 5th best, Betfair, Unibet, Betfred, Betway. So noting the lack of Paddy or Hills in there in terms of big bookmakers. Alright, 640 is the bet for bet 4. That's it. That should add you up to £24.50. So let's hope the old big talk up of Innisfree Lad was worth it. That's a horse that glides into the top 5. I mean, winning would be delightful, but top 5 will absolutely take it, given we've stacked it in a few bets there. So that's that. As far as Saturday goes, so it does look like freebets.com for me is come to an end. Yeah, they're making some changes. I don't know all the deets on that in terms of what they're doing on social media content, that kind of stuff. But my main contact, who I've worked with the whole time, I've had an association with them, is leaving. And so he's let me know that this week. So unless they reach out to me, then there won't be anything else on there from me. If they want to get back in touch through somebody else, they're very welcome to, and we can have a discussion about it. But as far as my freelancing availability, I've got a gap in my diary. So if anyone else is watching and you want to tap me up, the email's in the description. Give me a mail. We'll have a chat. You know, particularly ITV, racing TV. You know, if you want a bit of value corner, I've got strings to my bow. So we can chat about every race, every horse and every race. But I'm not going to not tell you which ones have got the most value in it. That's kind of what I do. But clearly, bookmakers won't want me on their sites, and they don't want me to be affiliated with them, would they? Because that would be a ridiculously stupid idea. Just watch out for tipsters who have affiliate links to bookmakers. So bookmakers are paying them for to advertise tips, because they're not going to want to do that if they're really decent, are they? I mean, I'm not going into all that stuff again today, but yeah, I saw some stuff this week. It's just like, people using phrases like big price at 2 to 1 and stuff like that. It's just nonsense, absolutely nonsense. Anyway, so that's free. Yeah, so that's free bet. So I'll have a think about what I might do to adapt my Saturday staking plan, because I know there's a few people that liked some of the elements of that, of having a horse of the day and doing some sort of dreamy acca. So I may well look at whether or not I actually integrate some of that into what I do usually for a Saturday. I'm not necessarily going to do it for this Saturday. I'll see. But I don't want to just spin out a horse of the day for the sake of it. Like for that was the format I used. That I had a horse of the day. Some days I do and some I don't. So today, horse of the day in his free lad. That is clear. Some days I don't have a lean and I don't want to just push one out every day. So yeah, I'll have a think about that. So yeah, I know that'd be sad for a few folks who liked the format of that, but equally it may well come back round again. Who knows? As well for the weekends, what that means is on some weekends there'll definitely be more chance of me putting out a Friday night video that I know some people will find much more helpful. So it'll all depend for me kind of what's going on, family stuff, from week to week, about whether or not that's going to be a Friday night or a Saturday morning video. So I shall try and kind of keep you updated each week, but if you assume it's Saturday morning and if it comes out Friday night, then it's a bit of a bonus, isn't it? Get less price movement between Friday and Saturday, so it's less, that kind of stuff's less of a worry if people have picked it up a bit later. As well for Saturday with tips to competition, important to flag this weekend, ITV Racing is starting much earlier. So I think it's like nine races on ITV Racing, and there's quite a lot of them. I think 4 or 5 are before 2 o'clock. So I've had a bit of a think about it today, and I'm not going to change the time of the entry of the competition. It's all done with good spirit. So, you know, what I mean by that is, you know, I don't want to be seeing people putting in putting in their selections for the entry in the competition in early races, and then suddenly it disappear and then they re-put in something else. So please carry on, as most people are, doing it in a nice spirit. We're not trying to win millions of pounds here. This is a free to enter, no prize other than glory. That's how it works. So that would be helpful. But whilst I'm talking about tips and stuff, I can't say it enough times, can I? Just reply to the comments. So when I do the video for Saturday, reply to the comment about the tips to competition. Reply to that one. Don't just reply and add a comment on the video. Reply to that. I say it so many times and so many people still do it. I get when people are in a rush, it happens, right? But some people seem to do it every week. I don't think it's too hard. Come on, just get it on there. But also, what would really help me and Stephen when we're doing the stats is write it out like I asked in the whole message. So actually writing out the time and the meeting, then the horse, and then what your stake is, right? Whether you write that as pounds or points, that I'm not fussed about that. But there's a bunch of people that like write it in and you know think I'm like psychic and can work out the race. Well, I can usually if the time's right, but it's just a bit of a ball ache. So if you could just write all the information, it really does help. Because I don't want to get to a point where I'm just like, do you know what? It just takes too long because people don't put all the right information in there. I've tried to strike a balance between, I don't want to make the thing too simple, but equally I don't want to make it too complicated. But equally, everybody replying to that chain of emails makes it far easier to be able to see everything and the time it came in and all that kind of stuff. So that's what needs to be in there. And yeah, on a similar note actually about that. So as we talk about a lot, and lots of people do, people are always very welcome to share what their tips are for the day, what their selections are, what they're betting on. You know, lots of people find it very useful, particularly on the days on a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, if I'm not putting out a video and I've written something in the comments and I've pinned it to the top. But yeah, I just actively encourage, because there's people there who just don't seem to get the memo on that one, and they just write it willy-nilly somewhere else in the comments, or write it from the day before or whatever it is. But yeah, if you want to share tips, if it's on a non-video day, then write it in that thread. If it's on a video day, then just write it anywhere. That's absolutely fine. But what I would say, because there's a couple of people that I'm like, it's not quite what I would want. That's there for anyone who just wants to share what they're doing. So like a bunch of regulars do it all the time and it's brilliant. And sometimes they win and sometimes they don't. Some people back them and it's all very supportive. What I'm less keen on is when people put stuff on there from another tipster site that they've paid for or something like that. I'm actively encouraging people not to pay for tips unless they're really good. And then what's even stranger is if you are purporting to be some sort of tipster yourself, why are you then paying someone else to get tips from them? It's very confusing. So please, I would actively encourage you share your own tips, not someone else's that you've robbed. Clearly, if you've got a whole bunch of resources you're looking at and you want to put it in there, but that's fine. I'd also say to people, please don't put in like your advised stake. If you want to go and run some sort of channel or go on some tipster site where you advise that, do that. But when people do that, it makes me uncomfortable, because it makes me worry that other people think that person is kind of professionalising what they're doing or whatever it is. So whether you bet £100 or you bet £1, I don't mind. And if you want to come on and celebrate you've won X amount of money, that's really, I'm all good with that. But when people start putting in going, I advise this as a £2 each way, whatever, or here's my double of the day and it's a £5 each way double, that's not necessarily, I don't feel comfortable with that. What I feel comfortable with is if you go, I've put £5 each way on that, that's fine. Hopefully, because I know most people get that already, it's quite clear. But yeah, I'm not sort of having like some sort of pseudo like betting advice service on here. Like this is for regular folk to share their selections and their tips and stuff like that. And it's grown really, really nicely. There's a whole bunch of people who do it and are pretty good at doing it, to be fair. So yeah, and I know. I mean, some people probably don't even watch the video because they're not interested in what I'm saying. They actually just much rather see what Susan or Shane or Marcus or anyone else is doing. So, I'm perfectly fine with that. If you've got another reason to come to the channel because you just want to read the comments of what everyone else is doing, fine with that. I appreciate it. I'm not going to be everyone's favourite. So, yeah. All right. So I think that's what I was going to say about that. So hopefully that's clear. And really, I'm talking to one or two people, and I hope that makes sense. Golf. We had a good start on the golf, and we struck lucky with the draw. So I'm not going to kind of profess to you that I went and had an encyclopedic knowledge of what the weather forecast was in Doha. Sometimes I look, sometimes I don't. But to be fair for Doha, I didn't actually look. I just made a blind assumption the weather was probably pretty good. Turns out on Thursday in Doha, the weather was nice in the morning, and then they had a sandstorm, and then there was some lightning and thunder and stuff like that. So absolute strong bias if you were drawn coming out early, and we had 5 golfers and 4 came out early, so we did all right out of that. We only had Jeff Winther come out late, and he hasn't done terribly. He's just sort of mid-pack, which considering he came out late is pretty good. But the early doors ones, so Larathabal and Samuja, both top 10, and then what did we have? Somebody else. Kinholt was the one that was 4 back, so he's 4 back from the places, and then we had somebody else who was 3 under, but their names completely escaped me, whoever that was. It doesn't matter. It's written somewhere in a video. But what I would say as well, I've never reminded, because I haven't said this for ages, if you're putting the golf bets on and you want to try and track them, the best app that I use, which I haven't found anything better, so if you've got anything better, feel free, but Flash Score. So we can go, if you download the Flash Score app, it's completely free, you don't need to sign up for anything, you just put an app on your phone. With the Flash Score app, you can go into the golf event and basically flag your favourites for that golf event. So then when you go into favourites, it literally then lists them all of what their progress is. Sometimes it's not very good at updating it sort of gives you false data. That's the only drawback with it. But when you actually go, or every time you go into the actual tournament list, it will tell you the accurate information, then updates it. But I use that for all sorts of different sports. Don't use it for horses, but when I do things like tennis or which I haven't done for a while on here, but that kind of stuff, or darts matches, it's really, really helpful because you literally then can just, everything you've had a bet on, it's all in one place on Flash Score. So yeah, I really recommend, if you haven't got it, download the Flash Score app if you're doing things like golf bets, because it's really a simple way of tracking where everybody's at all times, and it updates it quicker than things like BBC Sport or something like that some people might be using. So that is that. So yeah, so with the golf, happy enough with the start of that one. We got 2 in the top 10 after round 1, yeah. So I mean, I can't remember the specifics, but basically they were advised top 7 or 8. So the fact that there's 2 of them tied 7th, you take a return off that right now. So I think is that it? So what I was going to say, I've covered free bets, covered golf, covered tipping and stuff in the thing. I think that's everything. All right, that's me. I shall be back probably Saturday morning, outside chance Friday night.
And let's hope we can have a decent day off our 24.50 stake, because yeah, we really are due something. I say it all the time. Well, I don't say it all the time. We are not owed, right? We are not owed in the history of this channel. We're not owed anything, but we are due statistically of turning up a bit of a result. And when I say a result, I'm talking like at least £100 result. We are definitely overdue turning that up. It's been slim pickings for decent ones this year. It's my sort of time of year, so let's hope we can do that. I think last year, November I hit a bit of a weird flatty spot, and then December we're normally a pretty good month. Yeah, I'd like to get something in the next week. I mean, I'd like to get just anything really, but yeah, be absolutely over the moon if we get £100 day. Let alone getting involved in Bahamas days and stuff like that. That that's at some point that will happen if you do the channel long enough. It'll happen. Yeah. All right. Anyway, that's me. I'm going to bed. Thank you very much. See you on the next video, Saturday morning, possibly Friday night. Bye bye.